Well, g'day everyone. You're probably wondering about where I've been for these last few months. Now, I'm going to do this in one take, so if I make a mistake, I'm just going to leave it in. But I wanted to explain where I've been since the start of the year, because it's now been roughly 7 months since I've put a video on. I think the last one I put on was just about the car. So what I want to do is go back to when this all happened. Was on January the 1st this year. We decided to go out with my son and his family and do some four-wheel driving through some local forests, and we had an amazing day. It was incredible, actually. And by the end of the day, we decided to stop and light a fire and cook some food. And I was just enjoying that as well as everyone else. Then all of a sudden, I felt a bit dizzy, and I thought, whoa, that's weird. And so I sat down and I said to my wife and my son, I said, look, I think I'm having a heart attack because I went really dizzy and it wasn't going away. Once that I sort of said that, well, they said, hop into the car. They were going to lie me down in the car, and I passed out. And apparently I convulsed. I was convulsing fairly badly for about 30 seconds, which was, well, I didn't know it was happening, but apparently it looked pretty awful. And at the same time of getting into the car, I probably stood on my wife's leg and I broke her foot, which also, you think, oh, here we go. I've had a heart problem, and also my wife was going to go to hospital with a broken foot. So I woke up after about 30 seconds and they laid me down outside on the ground and checked my Apple Watch, and my heart rate was around 300, which is crazy when you think about it. So I was lucky I didn't just die on that spot. When the ambulance came, they couldn't believe how high my heart rate was. They were very shocked, actually, and I had to be rushed to hospital. Now, they took me to a local hospital, which is Ballarat. I went to that one because it's the closest hospital to where we were at the time for four-wheel driving, and they took me there. And it took a while, but they gave me drugs that actually slowed the heart rate down again. Now, what I had to do then is I had to stay on those drugs for a period of time, and they were hoping that the drugs had solved the problem. But unfortunately, probably around about 2 weeks later, I had another attack at home. I said to my wife, oh, I can feel it racing again. It was nowhere near what the first racing was. This time it was around about 150 at rest. So I got rushed back to hospital again. This time, though, they realised that I was going to have a pacemaker inserted to try and stop it. So they actually put a pacemaker in after, I think, a couple of weeks. I went back and had a pacemaker put in, and it's also a defibrillator as well. So I had both put in, which then they hoped would solve the problem. The issue was it didn't. I had another attack another day. I had to be rushed back to hospital again. This time, though, they couldn't stop the heart racing, and my defibrillator went off 6 times, which is an incredibly horrible experience because I was conscious. The defibrillator went off 6 times. Eventually, though, they did manage to get the medication to work and slow that down, so I was okay again. Now, after having that, we thought, well, this is fine now. I went and had what they call an ablation. Now, what that was they put a needle into my groin, and they put a probe sort of up inside the heart, and they burn the areas where they think is getting the electrical impulses that are firing. So they did that for me, and they were hoping that corrected the problem. So we thought it did. We waited about 3 weeks because we wanted to start our trip that I've talked to you about before. We wanted to start that trip and go up north into the warmth and get away from Melbourne's cold weather. So we did. We went away, and we went right up near a place called Surfers Paradise, was sort of up around there. We had to pick up our van at the same time. So we picked up our van, went to a caravan park and stayed there. My wife was going to fly back to where she worked because they were finishing on that day. They got retrenched. It was a great thing because we wanted to take off anyway. And she got some money that we could use for what we're going to be doing. But so that worked out really well. But on the day my wife was going to fly back, I couldn't believe it. I woke up and I felt the fast heart rate again. So I had to be rushed to hospital near where we were. They couldn't do anything with heart lung ablation and things like that because they're more of a sort of, well, they are a big hospital, but they're not like Melbourne where I got my heart ablation done. So they just tried to stabilize me. They used my pacemaker because they were having trouble stopping it again. They used the pacemaker to do what they call pacing, and it stopped the heart from racing like crazy. And I had to go back on my medication again because I'd obviously had this tachycardia again. So then what we decided to do, we decided to just come straight home. We were going to stay holidaying, but due to what had happened to me, we decided to come home and talk to the specialist back in Melbourne. So we got back to Melbourne and they decided that I needed to have a second ablation, but this time was much more serious because they actually opened up my chest this time. I mean, it's not huge, but they opened up my chest and went in that way underneath my rib cage, and they ablated from the outside this time. So there's much more recovery and everything involved in that. Basically, what they do is they give you like mini heart attacks where the nerve cells are, so that it dies, the cells die in that area. Now, the reason why this has all happened is because 20 odd years ago, when I was 40, I had a heart attack. They don't know why I had the heart attack, and I didn't need anything done. I didn't need stents done. I didn't need surgery done or anything else. It was just something that happened. They think it was a little bit of plaque had gone away from the arteries. So that leaves scar tissue, and that's what's caused the whole problem. So after 20 odd years, the scar tissue is causing these electrical problems to not fire correctly. So what they've done now is they've tried to scar the areas that were causing that issue. So they are actually scarring your heart, but they're hoping now that that's fixed it. That was 5 weeks away, 5 weeks ago. They say it takes about 8 weeks to get over this fully. I'm still quite tired, a bit breathless. I can't walk too far without feeling a bit fatigued, but that will get better hopefully over time now. I have got another appointment with my heart specialist at the end of this month, the end of August, and I suppose they'll talk to me about things and see how I'm going and everything else. So, I'm looking at this from a positive perspective because in theory, I probably should have been dead. I mean, I shouldn't be here talking to you about this because I had multiple cases of this tachycardia and I'm still here to talk about it in this beautiful location. So that's what's happened. So what about the future? Well, we are still going to do what we were discussing about before. As long as everything's okay when I get back with the heart specialist, we're going to take off to do this trip around Australia, which I'm really looking forward to. And what I want to do with the channel is I want to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to show you our trip, but I'm also going to show you the photography and videography that we capture on the trip as well. So it's going to be a little bit different to probably what most other people are showing. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I really do hope that you can come along with us and see what we do. I think I'm blessed that I'm still here. Like I said, I really do think I'm blessed. I always like to think on the positive side. So even though all these horrible things have happened, well, I'm still here with my beautiful wife who's filming this. So apart from that, everyone, stay tuned because I will be showing some amazing places. It's just going to take a little bit of time to get these things once we start traveling to show it all. I am going to give you all because a lot of people too in the four-wheel drive industry and caravan industry here in Australia are interested in the cars and the vans. So I am going to show my complete car setup now and also the van setup. So I suppose, look, if you're not interested in that aspect of it, you don't have to watch those videos. But if you are, I'd love you to sort of see how we've set up and how we're going to be traveling around Australia. But then we will be also showing our travels plus how we've shot them and things like that, the gear that I'm using. I will do a video shortly to show what gear I've taken on this trip as well. That you're not in for 4 or 5 weeks. Is it a plaster?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, it's plaster. All right, we're going to go and wash the car, have some dinner. So we'll see you on the next one.
Don't watch the car tonight.
Everyone say bye.
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 Great day. Thanks, Damien.
Yeah, thanks for taking us out.
Yeah, thanks.
We really appreciate it.
See you guys.
Gave me a heart attack. You broke your mum's leg.